Let's see, next on our list of things is Deanne is Table Topics Master. Are you ready? Let's welcome up Deanne.
Hello and good morning, everybody. Wonderful meeting so far as always. Since we did have 2 speeches and a story, we don't have a lot of time. However, I've got a few questions. And as we all know, the purpose of Table Topics is to provide a quick 1 to 2 minute spontaneous off the cuff kind of a speech, but it really is a speech, a mini speech. It's organized like beginning, middle, end. It has a story or something like that. Oftentimes what happens is if we ask a question, the person who is called upon will just simply answer it. Like, tell us, how old were you when you got your driver's license? Oh, I got my license on my 16th birthday, and then go into an answer. But it's an answer directly to the question as opposed to creating a story. So I'm challenging everybody today to consider an actual story or a beginning, middle, and end or something. And I am going to put some questions here in the chat. Oops, did it come up? It did. All right. So actually, instead of putting them in the chat, I'm just going to ask them. The first question, I don't know, it's kind of ineffable. And that's kind of the point, because here as Toastmasters, we're supposed to use words to describe it. But try to describe your favorite color without naming the color. You can use adjectives and descriptions and metaphors or whatever, but not naming the color. Try to describe your favorite color. Is there anybody who would like to volunteer for this one? Or I'm going to call upon somebody. No hands are going up. All right, Julie's racking her brain. Julie, you know you can do it. Unmute yourself.
I was trying to I was laughing and my eyes were watering. Hoping you wouldn't call on me. When I think of this color, I think of a cool feeling to the touch, but also in your mind. It makes your mind feel cool and calm. Has nature, same, the colors are naturally in our environment. And it brings a smile to your face. It's not the color of any food that I can think of, but just it makes me think of cool, calm, want to be outside, not inside at the office. And I'm not sure how to do this. I think of like a blue-green is one of my favorite colors, like a light blue-green. So it's kind of hard also when it's not really just one color. It's like a blue-green. So I did my best. Back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Julie. Again, that was kind of an ineffable, and that was the point. And it really, I don't know about you all, but it really got me thinking by your description. I'm trying to guess, what is it, right? And that's awesome. Next question is, what is one invention you think is so darn cool that you cannot imagine life without? And alternatively, maybe it's one invention you really wished you had thought of, but it really enhances life and it's just so fun. Dan, I know you're thinking about it.
My gosh, yeah. Well, when I hear the word invention, especially in this kind of very broad general context, of course, what flashes through my mind is the wheel. And you got me thinking there, Deanne, about, gee, the inventor of the wheel. Obviously, I wouldn't want to be thrown back in time, or maybe I would, I don't know, to be that inventor. But it does make me wonder, imagine what was going on when the wheel got invented. I mean, was it some Stone Age kind of group of huts that people were hanging out in, and the women were digging roots and the guys were out there trying to spear some beast of some sort. I guess mammoths and things were extinct by then. Who knows? Well, probably they were. But what was going on? And was somebody just kind of screwing around and they just put some kind of maybe a twig or something into, I don't know, some weird formed piece of wood that had a bunch of knot holes, and they said, "Hey, look at this! Look, it's pretty cool, huh?" And people were laughing and saying, "Yeah, that's really great. That's, you got more roots to dig up." So but it's fascinating to me to really think about that, and that's what really sparked in my mind, Deanne, from what you mentioned, is this sort of ineffable mystery of what it felt, what it was like, what was really the context of the invention of the wheel. Did the inventor of the wheel really receive a lot of recognition like an inventor would today? I mean, imagine if somebody came up with something as stupendous today as the invention of the wheel. I mean, this person would be worshiped, be winning Nobel Prizes and all sorts of things. Back then, you really have to wonder, was this person even aware that they were inventing something? And did they really care that much about the whole idea of invention? And did their peers really care? Who knows? Probably, like a lot of these things, it had to do with warfare, and it was probably something that just came up in that context. Sad to say, but that's kind of been one of the human activities that has propelled invention along quite a bit. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Excellent. And that's a very good point to contemplate. We only have time for a couple more, and I'd like to hear from people who don't really have any speaking roles. And I'm not sure, Sue, or is it Sue or Sue May? If you are wanting to step up, please volunteer. Go ahead. And so the next question is going to be, if somebody dropped $50,000 in your lap right now, and you had to spend it sometime the rest of this year, which means what, 6 weeks, 5 weeks or something, how would you spend it? What would you do with the money? So maybe Ranjita or Joanne we haven't heard much from Joanne. So who's going to? All right, I'm calling on you, Joanne.
I'm sorry, I was doing the evaluation. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, if you're not ready, then of course I want to give you that time. And so I can call on Ranjita if you're not quite finished, because you're up next.
Okay, I could give it a little try if you like.
Okay, so if you're going to give it a try, it's like if you were dumped 50 grand in your lap right now and you had to spend it by the end of the year, 5 weeks from now, how would you spend it? What would you do?
Oh, that's a really hard one, because right now I'm trying to remodel my bathrooms, and that's probably costing that much money right away. But if it was dumped, it would be fun to give some Christmas gifts, and especially to look at some local community things that could use some help, because I know this is such a difficult time for so many people. So I guess it would be finish remodeling my bathrooms and look at some different groups. I participate with Community Solutions. We sponsor families, and I know there's been some food giveaways, and there's Cecilia's Closet that does a lot of wonderful things. So I'd like to do that, and also maybe think of some fun Christmas gift giving, but don't overboard on the grandkids. I love to buy gifts for my grandkids. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great. Thank you,
Table Topics Master.
Do we have time for one more, Julie, or are we out of time? What do you think? If we have time for one more, it'll be either Ranjita or our guest, if you are willing. So
I would say just one.
Working on evaluation.
Just one.
Okay, so last question. What is the most unusual job that you've ever had, or was there a specific duty that you had to do within a job that was just really weird, but you're required to do?
I guess Sue did not volunteer, so I'll take that. When I first started work after I graduated with my MBA, I actually joined a management consulting firm in Atlanta, Georgia. It was called Kurt Salmon Associates. And our German colleagues called it root fish. Kurt Salmon, root fish. My role was to, as a management consultant, look at the business processes. We had our customers were retail clients in the textile and just general grocery, actually all kinds of industries, but mostly in the retail environment. And I remember there was one project we were working on where a company, like an example I'll give you, like is Ace Hardware, is trying to buy another company, and we had to do a research on which stores they should buy based on the demographics and the foot traffic, etc. And I came up with a model to do that. But the strange part was I was in the middle of like Idaho or Iowa, going to these stores and very surreptitiously measuring the foot space, the square footage, and coming up with these things. And I'm, Asian woman in the middle of like nowhere, and these people are looking at me. And these stores are where men come, to buy their big hardware, etc. And here I am doing these strange things. That was the most unusual experience for me. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
That's great. Thank you, Ranjita. I love Table Topics because we always get to know a little bit more about our members too. So I've just put in the chat, put your vote into me directly on the chat. Julie talked about her favorite color. Dan talked about an invention. Joanne about her 50K, which, yeah, that'll go in a couple of bathrooms. And Ranjita about the odd job or duty. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.